Hello, welcome to another episode of Flavours of Africa. I'm Doris Ufoegbune.
And as always, I'm Kevin Ufoegbune.
You know, like any good thing, it sure will come to an end.
Well, we're not coming to an end just yet. We are finishing off our first season of Flavours of Africa, but look forward to a second season in the near future where we bring you more guests. We continue to take you around the continent in many tasty ways, more recipes, more fun, more drinks.
I guess that's a positive way of saying it.
Exactly.
Yes.
I mean, we've had so much fun here. We've enjoyed, the feedback that we've received from you viewers. We hope that you continue emailing us.
Keep it going.
flavorsofafrica@shaw.ca. You can continue to tweet us if tweeting is your thing at flavors_Africa, and make sure that you like us on Facebook.
Yes.
Well, we've certainly been to many different places.
So many places.
We started off in Nigeria. We went to Ghana. We visited Sierra Leone.
We did Liberia.
That's true.
Morocco.
South Africa.
Ethiopia.
We even took a look at our own homeland, Canada, where we gave traditional Italian cuisine and Chinese cuisine an African twist, and that was a lot of fun.
And we went to Jamaica.
That's right.
Awesome.
And we can't forget about Ethiopia and the beautiful history that it had there.
Yes. So we've been to so many places, and now it's our season finale.
And we're going to go to one of those places again. It's going to be a lot of fun, and stay tuned. We're going to bring you that country. We're going to bring you another delicious dish that you can cook from that country and especially enjoy on a hot summer day. You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned here on Flavours of Africa.
Sounds good. Welcome back to Flavours of Africa.
Today is the season finale, and we didn't give it away, but we're going to go all the way to Nigeria today.
Yes, isn't it interesting? We started from Nigeria.
That's true.
And we are going back to Nigeria.
Exactly, and as many of you know, or many of you actually call Nigeria your homeland, Nigeria is located in West Africa. The capital city is Abuja. It's the most populated country in Africa.
Yes.
And the city, Lagos, is the biggest and the former capital.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then the new capital now is Abuja.
Exactly.
And
with the beautiful rock, and we did.
Exactly. And the president
Take a look at
is
that.
Good
luck,
luck,
Jonathan. Interesting
exactly.
name.
Good luck. Yes.
And of course, the three big groups are the Hausa, the Igbo, and the Yoruba.
Exactly.
And we're Igbo.
Yes. And then don't forget to mention how Nigeria got its name, because it's so interesting.
Oh, that's true.
Yes.
So Nigeria, the term Nigeria was actually coined by one of the colonial officers' wife, Flora Shaw.
Exactly.
And she, they weren't sure what they're going to call it. I think at one point it was Goldisia.
I know.
Another point it was Niger, Sudan.
That would
so then
have been interesting, Goldisia.
A friend and I actually laughed about that idea.
Yeah, but I guess over time you kind of get
used to it. I guess we would say we're...
But I think I prefer Nigeria.
I do. And they settled on Nigeria, and she wrote about it, and she said, well, we have the Niger River that's it's so popular.
Yes, which makes sense.
And so why not call it Nigeria? And that's what we know Nigeria today. And we're, we have a lot of history, especially with European contact. But, we've always sort of maintained our culture.
Yes, and don't forget the movie industry.
Nollywood.
Oh, you can't talk about Nigeria without mentioning Nollywood. Beautiful movies. And I have so many favorite movies coming from Nigeria.
That's true.
I guess that would be on another episode where we discuss Nigerian movies.
Course.
Because it's so interesting. Everybody, most people know about Nigerian movies.
That's right. And we have to mention also that Nollywood is one of the growing industries, if not like the third.
It is the third.
I think next to Bollywood.
After India, yeah.
So if you get a chance, don't miss out. They're very funny, very entertaining, and you can check it for the part 1 or the part 2 or the part 3 of the movie.
I love the thing. It's kind of long, but now they're doing very well. You just sit down and watch. And I love those traditional ones, set in
the rural places.
Of Africa.
That's true.
Yeah. So I guess we
can get cooking.
Exactly.
Today we're making the Suya Supreme.
And it's from Nigeria. It's well eaten in Nigeria. And it's so easy to make. So we have the Suya mix, here. This is our signature. I tell you what's in it. We have the cayenne pepper, we have the ginger, we have the garlic powder. However, if you don't like garlic powder, if you don't like the powder, you can go ahead and make your pureed garlic. That's what I have here. So you have the African basil. You know, I've spoken extensively about African basil, so that's what we have there. And so let me show you how to get about doing this suya. So with your garlic, you add your garlic to your meat. So you mix it up. Then after it's mixed up together, you take the skewer. So I guess what I'm going to do is just remove one skewer just to show our audience how it's done. So you kind of put it in the skewer, just like this, okay?
And I was saying that suya is a good summer dish because it's on a shish kebab.
It is,
but then I realized in Nigeria it's summer all year round.
Exactly.
Anyways.
So that's why we have it. So once you do it, and then you take some of your suya mix, and then you kind of pat it just to coat it, just like this. All right. So once it's well coated, you go to the next one. So let me show you the one that is already done, and here it is. So you see how neatly done it is. So we're gonna take a break. When we come back, we're gonna start cooking the suya. So
there's more coming up on Flavors of Africa. Stay tuned. And welcome back to another episode of Flavors of Africa. Today is our season finale, and we've decided to go back to Nigeria, which is in West Africa. And today we're cooking the delicious Suya Supreme. And we're going to continue to take you to different African countries in many tasty ways in the second season.
Awesome. So as you can see, the Suya is cooking, and we've introduced our ingredients, which are peanuts, cayenne pepper, garlic, dry onions, the African basil, and just a pinch of salt. And you can also add turmeric just for color and curry. Mix it up, grind it, and you get, this is what it will look like once
I'm wondering,
it's done.
can we use a substitute for peanuts in case we're allergic
Yes,
to
you
it?
can use chickpeas. So chickpeas is great, you know, in place of peanuts for people that are allergic to peanuts, okay?
And speaking about exploring and getting out there, we were invited to, well, a few events now.
In Neblis, that's a very interesting event because we got to meet wonderful people. We met the Honorable Jim Prentice and his lovely wife, and we met the founder of Neblis,
Charles Serwa.
Exactly. And you know, the interesting thing is that a ticket was $500, so it would have cost both of us like $1,000, but they invited us as guests. This is because of Flavours of Africa and Shaw Television. So we are very, you know, forever grateful. It's really an honor.
Exactly.
And the interesting thing is that when we met the Honorable Jim Prentice, he was so down to earth.
Very
nice,
nice,
and
very nice.
He introduced himself, and he said, you know, if you ever need some help, please let us know. And that was very amazing.
And he's watching
that was really
as well,
kind of
so,
him. And
yeah.
he said he promised to be watching Flavours of Africa.
Exactly.
So we've been to, you know, several places,
well, it's been fun.
places.
We have those pictures up, and tell us what's going on in your world. Have you tried any of Flavours of Africa's dishes? Have you done anything cultural, anything exciting? We need to hear from you. So tweet us at Flavors_Africa. You can always email us at flavorsofafrica@shaw.ca. And of course, make sure that you like us on Facebook. I know that many of you are on Facebook.
Yes.
And just keep in touch and just let us know what's going on.
Awesome. It sounds great. So I'm going to kind of lower this. You know the interesting thing now, I call it peanuts.
Yeah.
In Nigeria, we don't call peanuts peanuts. We call it groundnuts. When
I don't think you're saying it the Nigerian way.
No, groundnuts. Well, groundnuts. That's how we say it in Nigeria.
With the intonation.
Now that I live in Calgary, in Canada. But, you know, when I first came here, because I love peanuts, and I came here and I went to the store to buy groundnuts.
Oh, no.
And I went to the lady and I said, please, I'm looking for groundnuts, because I didn't see where it's written groundnuts. All I could see is peanuts. I said, no, that's not what it is. I said, groundnuts. And she said, I went to the cashier. I said, please, I'm looking for some groundnuts. She said, ground what? I said, groundnuts. She said, spell it. I said, ground and nuts. And she said, really? I'm like, yeah. She said, okay, please hold on. And then she called, Debbie, can you please come and help this customer? And she came over. She said, oh, how can I help you today? I said, well, I'm looking for some groundnuts. She said, we don't sell it here. I said, I'm sure you do. She said, no, seriously, we don't sell groundnuts here. I said, okay. I said, well, you know what? I don't like to give up. I said, I'm going to go look for my groundnuts. And when I find it, I'm going to let you know. And you know what she said? She says, okay, please let me know when you find it. I said, I sure will. So when I was looking everywhere, people, they were looking at me and said, oh, she's looking for groundnuts. So I walked around and I found a bag and it said peanuts. And I started looking at it. I said, peanuts? Why did they call it peanuts? It's groundnuts. And my husband came, you know, your dad, Ugo, and he says, oh, yes, this is peanuts, it's groundnuts.
Him having lived,
because he's been here for a long time, so he understands the culture. So talk about culture shock, you know. Yeah. And then now when I do, I say peanuts, and you know what's interesting? When I go to Nigeria, and I don't call it groundnuts anymore, I call it peanuts. And I'm like, guys, can you buy me some peanuts? They say, we don't have it here. There's no such thing. I say, yes, there is. We have peanuts here. I've eaten it, you know, on the plane. They say, no, sorry, you know, auntie, as they say in Nigeria. Yeah. We don't have peanuts here. I think you've left Nigeria for the longest time, so you don't know, you know, what we have here. I say, yes, we do. I say, oh, yeah, it's groundnuts. And they say, yes, groundnuts, you know.
Funny.
So that's really...
I mean, you can experience that culture shock both ways. You go there, confusion,
exactly.
and you come here.
Exactly, you know. So that's
crazy.
why we have to be patient with new people coming here because of the cultural variation. We have to show them.
We can't be under the assumption that immigrants will know certain things. I mean, if I go to China, I need somebody like beside me 24/7 because it'll be such a culture shock. So we have to remember to be sensitive to that, especially in Calgary.
Definitely, and especially when it comes to English, because you know now, I mean, I spoke English when I was in Nigeria, but when I came here, it's a different intonation, different way. So you could say, I'm looking for groundnuts, and if you don't say the right way, if you say groundnut, they don't understand, right? It's like garden, it's, you know, the way you say it. So you need to learn that. So that's why we really have to be patient with people coming in, because I experienced it, you know, and again, like in terms of jobs too, you know, sometimes, because when I was in Nigeria, I was a teacher before coming here, and the interesting thing is that I was told to go and retrain before I could go to university. But
the official language in Nigeria is English.
English, yeah.
But you still have to retrain.
Exactly. And I had to take TOEFL, that's the test of English as a foreign language. And I did that. Even though
your second language is English.
Exactly. Even though I spoke English, and I did that.
English.
Exactly. And I did that. And then before attending university, and, you know, so that's what I'm trying to say, that most people will experience it, but I must tell you now that things have changed. People are coming from different parts of the world, and they are getting jobs, you know, even without having. So,
I mean, there are barriers, but you know, there are also success stories that come with that.
So that's very, very interesting. Yeah.
Exactly.
So let's check.
Yes, I can smell it, and
see
it's
how
delicious.
it's doing.
You know, the aroma kind of reminds you of Nigeria too. Just that tastiness.
Exactly. So you need to keep on cooking it. And the other thing I want to mention to our viewers is that if you don't have a grill like this, you can do it in the oven, and then you will put it in broil, and it will turn out perfectly. So you don't need to have this.
Now I'm interested in how we actually did it in Nigeria, because I never saw anybody make this in Nigeria. So is it over open fire or what?
In Nigeria, it's usually done in an open fire. So we put the fire and the charcoal and everything. And you know, it's so interesting.
Like a barbecue.
Exactly. And you know, another interesting thing, when I was coming here, and I was at the airport, and I saw this white guy, Canadian. I don't know whether he's a Canadian, but he must have been a European. And he was eating his suya with drink, some kind of drink. And he was really enjoying it. And I went over, I said, oh, you like the meat? He said, oh yeah, I've lived here for the longest time. I love all kinds of food.
Yes.
And suya is one of my favorites. You know, that was very interesting. You've learned so much about multiculturalism.
I have.
Do you have anything that you need to share?
I just think that the best way to go about anything, almost anything in life, is just having an open mind.
Exactly.
I mean, I have friends from all over the world, different types of people. It just enriches my life that way. And I find that keeping an open mind and trying everything that they offer me is good for me, because that way I'm not missing out. And I would just say that's the most important thing when it comes to multiculturalism, a lot of sharing and being open to sharing as well. I think that helps me.
And then when you talk about the history of multiculturalism, it started with Honorable Trudeau.
Yes.
And I think it was introduced in 1971. About that?
Yes. Well, in the early 70s, at least, we know that he introduced the multiculturalism policy. That it's sort of a reminder to Canadians that we are, you know, a rich country. We're diverse, and that we have the right to celebrate multiculturalism. Of course, we're not like the United States that's a melting pot. I just don't, you know, I know every country, of course, has its own philosophy and its own beliefs, but I just think that it's richer when we can say, you know, we can dress how we want to dress.
Exactly, that because it's a cultural mosaic. You know, that we bring our culture. The Indians bring their own culture. Africans bring their own culture.
Asia,
and that's,
Europe.
you know, that's what makes Canada what it is. You know, it's very, very interesting. Yeah.
Exactly. Awesome. What do you miss most about Nigeria, though?
Well, family setting, because you visited Nigeria and you know how it is that, you know, you don't need to call your friends or your family to visit them. You just wake up and you go. And the door was always open for people to come in. And the food, of course, you know, you don't need an invitation to go to a friend's house or your family member's house to enjoy a delicious afternoon lunch, you know, or dinner. So I miss those things. And then the stories, you know, growing up, the stories that my parents used to tell me, you know. And now that I've grown up, I guess that's what I do with you guys. But I miss those wonderful
I do.
memories.
I remember how, you know, growing, I remember when I would visit Nigeria and my grandfather would tell me sort of stories, and he would connect me sort of to my history and things like that, of how things were when he lived. And, you know, it was so funny. I mean, I remember these memories kind of every day. And I think that, you know, people from, especially people from African descent, should at least visit Africa one time. And another thing that I like is that it's so friendly. Like, we talk about how it's so welcoming, and it really is. I mean, going home, the young people younger than me feel that they have to put me to a sort of a level of respect, and you know, they greet you, oh, good afternoon,
and stuff like that,
sir, madam, things like that. And that was my culture shock. It was like, you know,
because you don't live there, and that's one thing about Africa in general. Because if you are a foreigner, they treat you with respect. You know, Africans are very welcoming, and that's why most people go to Africa. You know. So I guess we're going to take a break, and when we come back, we're going to talk more about our dish and then about Nigeria.
You don't want to miss it. Stay tuned.
Hello, welcome back once again to Flavours of Africa. As you can see, our Suya Supreme is cooking.
And we're in Nigeria.
Yes, I know you
technically.
You can't wait to eat it. In Nigeria, the Igbo say kedu, meaning how are you? And then you will say odema. Did I tell you the story of this kedu? I was, that's when you were, you know, when you guys were young, and we were just shopping, and I made this doctor. And I heard him saying kedu. I must have said something in Igbo, in Nigerian language. And then he kept saying kedu, kedu. And I said, who is talking to me? And I kept thinking. And then finally I turned, he said kedu. I said, oh, Demma, meaning, how are you? It is fine. And I'm like, you're not in Nigeria. He said, of course not. I said, where did you learn to speak Igbo language? language.
Yeah,
He said, well, you know, he lived in Port Harcourt for the longest time, and then he came to Onitsha. Port Harcourt is a city in Nigeria. Onitsha is a city, a trading city in Nigeria as well, and then he could speak Nigerian language perfectly. So that was
I mean, it's interesting.
very, very interesting. You know, so you see, and that's the culture again.
But I want to learn how to like speak at least a little bit of different languages. Like I know the Hausa people say Senu, and I think the Yoruba people say Ikaro.
Yeah, Ikaro. Yes.
So tell us how you say hello in your language. That's another thing you can tweet us at Flavours_Africa. Today we're still making the delicious Suya Supreme, which you can enjoy on any summer day or any day of the year.
These ones are really good, so we're gonna, you know,
place them.
Yeah,
I'm gonna help you.
Yeah, you do that. So why don't we just? It doesn't matter how we place it, you know. It's all good, no wahala. You know, these ones are still cooking, so we can keep doing. Do your own design.
Now you're getting creative.
You are too.
Sure.
Yeah, so just like that.
Yeah.
Okay, like so that it will fill the plate.
It is funny though when I tell my friends about Nigeria, and even though they haven't been there, you know, the story is they start to visualize it and they're like, wow. You know, when I tell them about Lagos and things like that.
So do you want to try some? You can make suya. You know, I can't wait. I'm going to try mine.
I'm definitely going to try some of this. You broke off a piece. I'm going to do the same.
This is good. Guys, this is good. Perhaps you can make it at home.
I hope you do, and let us know how it goes for you. Perfect.
Wow.
I love the flavor on it.
We should do peanuts. Gives it a distinctive taste.
And remember, if you don't want to use peanuts, then you can use
chickpeas.
Exactly.
No wahala. All right. So this is what the finished product looks like.
Absolutely delicious.
Well, this is the Two Ocean.
Exactly.
That's okay, you know. I mean, it's a lovely drink. It goes very well.
So an African wine to complement an African dish. There you go.
Excuse me. Here,
Perfect.
Let me just clean up, you know.
I mean,
presentation is everything. Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, thank you very much for watching Flavours of Africa. We have an amazing second season coming up. We're going to continue to take you to many different African countries. We're going to have guests. We're going to have more delicious dishes, drinks, you name it. Tell us more about what you want to see on Flavours of Africa. Any comments, make sure that you tweet us, like us on Facebook. You can email us and keep us posted type of thing.
So we had a fantastic first season.
Yes, we did.
And we thank you, our wonderful viewers, you know, for watching Flavours of Africa. So we are going to toast to Flavours to Africa.
To Africa.
And to Flavours of Africa. And to you, our wonderful viewers. Cheers.
Cheers. Take care.